The radio wasn't televised, but what Charles Leclerc said on lap 9 changed the course of the race, and perhaps Lewis Hamilton's future at Ferrari. That moment stripped away the facade. When Leclerc declared, "I sacrificed my quali," he wasn't discussing strategy. He was activating a political trigger, his right to priority, and Ferrari complied. Within seconds, Riccardo Adami, Hamilton's race engineer, delivered the order. "We are swapping the cars." No debate, no resistance, just submission. The 7-time world champion, forced once again to swallow pride and red, eased off at the end of the main straight, allowing Leclerc to breeze past without a fight. That wasn't a technical call. It was a political statement. Hamilton had out-qualified Leclerc on Saturday, a rare feat this season. But all it took was Leclerc invoking the word sacrifice, claiming the higher ground, and the order came. The harsh truth? When Leclerc speaks, Maranello listens. When Hamilton speaks, Maranello hesitates. This isn't a team sharing decisions, it's a silent civil war wrapped in Ferrari red. And Barcelona was just the warning shot. The real battle has only just begun. Leclerc's words on the radio weren't a suggestion, they were an ultimatum. "So yeah, you choose," he told the Ferrari pit wall. But what choice did they really have? He reminded them that he'd sacrificed his Saturday, running only once in Q3 to save tyres for the race. It wasn't a sacrifice out of humility, it was leverage, a chess move. The message was clear. "I gave you Sunday, don't let Hamilton take it from me." And Ferrari folded instantly. They didn't analyze data, they didn't compare pace, they heard sacrifice, and they pulled the trigger. This isn't about racecraft anymore, it's about internal power. Hamilton, on pure pace, had earned track position, but in the politics of Maranello, that wasn't enough. When Leclerc complained he was stuck to Hamilton's gearbox, it wasn't frustration, it was positioning. He wasn't just faster, he was smarter in manipulating the narrative, and the team, complicit. This wasn't the first time. In China, it was the same script, different circuit, same outcome. Ferrari's loyalty is not to merit, it's to familiarity, and Hamilton is still the outsider in red. Leclerc knows this, and he's weaponizing it. Hamilton's words after the Spanish GP weren't diplomatic. They were confessions, raw and revealing. "Unbelievable, guys, there's something wrong with this car," he told his engineer. "The worst it's ever been." No filter, no sugarcoating. Barcelona didn't just expose a flawed setup, it exposed a fracture between man and the machine. The SF25 wasn't just slow, it was undrivable. And Hamilton, known for dancing on the edge with even the most unpredictable cars, was left flailing. No balance, no rhythm, no explanation. What's more damning is what came next. "It's probably just me," he added in the media pen. That wasn't humility, that was resignation. The voice of a titan being gaslit by the very institution meant to elevate him. At Mercedes, his word was law. At Ferrari, it's an afterthought. The team praised the strategy, Leclerc smiled on the podium, and Hamilton was left in the shadows carrying the blame, questioning himself in public. This isn't about one bad Sunday, it's about an ongoing pattern. When the car underperforms for Charles, they chase answers. When it fails Lewis, they shrug. And slowly, race by race, it's breaking him down. Not just physically, but psychologically. Every lap in Barcelona whispered a truth Ferrari won't admit out loud. Leclerc is the chosen one. And Hamilton, the expensive insurance policy. The team dynamics aren't just leaning in Leclerc's favor, they're tipping into open bias. This wasn't a team managing two stars, it was a power structure reinforcing its hierarchy. When Leclerc pushed on lap 7, Ferrari responded in 2 laps. When Hamilton complained about handling and balance, all he got was silence. The shift is subtle, coded in team radio, hidden in tire strategies, masked by PR-friendly statements. But the paddock hears it. Insiders know. This isn't about who's faster, it's about who's trusted. Leclerc's sacrifice in qualifying wasn't just tactical, it was a loyalty play. A reminder to Ferrari that he's their long-term bet, their emotional investment, and every time they prioritize him, they validate that bet, even at the cost of sabotaging Hamilton's momentum. What's worse, Lewis knows it. The frustration isn't just about pace, it's about the creeping realization that he's no longer the protagonist in his own story, and every order to move aside, every unexplained balance issue, adds another crack in the myth of a united Ferrari. Barcelona exposed something deeper than pace. It revealed Ferrari's operating doctrine, and it's written in Leclerc's handwriting. He's not just the lead driver, he's the ideological center. His voice commands urgency, his frustrations trigger action. And his sacrifice narrative, it's not a plea, It's a strategy, one that Ferrari responds to with unflinching loyalty. It's no longer about meritocracy, it's about reinforcing a hierarchy. And in that equation, Hamilton isn't a rival, he's a risk. The internal calculus is brutal. Charles is the brand Ferrari built, the golden boy who grew up in red. Hamilton? He's legacy from another empire, respected but not rooted. So when the pit wall hears both voices, they choose familiarity over greatness. Every single time. Barcelona didn't just show Leclerc being faster, it showed him taking command. While Hamilton wrestled with a car that betrayed him, Leclerc orchestrated the strategy, played the sacrifice card, and converted political capital into podium position. That's not just racing, that's control. And Ferrari, knowingly or not, has already picked a side. For Lewis Hamilton, this isn't just about struggling with setup or tire degradation. It's about legacy erosion, one race at a time. Every time he's told to move aside, every time the balance mysteriously collapses without a clear answer, the narrative tightens around him, the legend in decline. But what if the decline isn't natural? What if it's curated? At Mercedes, Hamilton was the axis. At Ferrari, he's orbiting someone else's sun. And that sun is Leclerc. Younger, embedded, fluent in Maranello's language. The SF25 may wear Hamilton's number, but it doesn't carry his name. Not yet. And the more he questions the car, the less the team seems inclined to answer. "I'm sure they won't," he said post-race when asked if Ferrari would investigate his issues. That's not a lack of faith, it's a damning indictment. The greatest driver of a generation cornered into doubting himself on camera. This isn't just failure, it's humiliation wrapped in politeness. And somewhere inside, Hamilton knows, if Ferrari won't fight for him now, when the car is lost, what happens if the title's on the line? You could hear it in Hamilton's voice, not anger, but disorientation. That hollow tone after the race when he said, "I just had a really bad day, I've got nothing to say," wasn't just about Barcelona. It was the sound of a champion being systemically disconnected, not from the car, from the mission, from the purpose. Because in Formula One, drivers don't just race machines, they race narratives. And right now, Ferrari's narrative doesn't have Hamilton at its center. Psychologically, this is the most dangerous zone for any elite athlete, when performance drops and support vanishes. No explanations, no reassurances, just tactical silence. It breeds self-doubt. And in the cruel paradox of elite sport, the more Hamilton questions, the more he's framed as unstable. A liability rather than a leader. Leclerc thrives in this silence. He speaks less, but when he does, he strikes. His sacrifice comment was as much a strategy as any overtake, and it worked. Ferrari moved. Hamilton? He's still trying to figure out if anyone's even listening. The danger isn't that Hamilton is being outpaced, it's that he's being quietly erased. What was sold as a dream, Hamilton in Ferrari red, now looks more like an illusion. A headline move built for marketing, not winning. On paper, it was the ultimate partnership, the most successful driver in history joining the sport's most legendary team. But behind the glossy PR, a darker truth simmers. This Ferrari isn't built for dual leadership, it's built around Charles Leclerc. And every strategy call, every sacrifice speech, every subtle team order reaffirms it. Barcelona didn't just show a struggling Hamilton, it revealed a team unwilling to rescue him, a setup that betrayed him, a silence that screamed, and a teammate who doesn't just want to beat him, he wants to define the future without him. The most chilling part? Hamilton knows it. And he's trapped in the very dream he helped create. He left Mercedes chasing rebirth. He may end up writing his final chapter as the ghost in red, the outsider who thought he could change Ferrari, only to find Ferrari changed him. So we ask, was this always the plan, or is the sacrifice Hamilton's, and he just didn't see it coming? If you believe this truth needs to be heard, share it, because silence favors those already in power. If you felt the weight of Ferrari's silence, if every ignored radio, every unexplained team order, every painful lap from Hamilton made you question what's really happening behind the scenes, this is your space. Here, the truth isn't polished, here the codes get broken, and if you believe Hamilton's sacrifice wasn't accidental but orchestrated, like, comment and subscribe. Because while mainstream media repeats the script, we reveal what they try to bury. The question is, are you with Ferrari or with the truth?